Today, we step into the heart of service and purpose with Kenny Sacht, a visionary who has turned compassion into a movement, proving that when conviction meets courage, lives transform. This isn't just about doing good, it's about reshaping the way we see humanity and our role in it. Welcome to the show, Kenny. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you, Anya. It's great to be with you. I'm excited to be here today.
Mhm. So, Kenny, what first lit the fire in you to create lasting change in the world?
Well, Anya, I was a high school basketball teacher and coach. I was a teacher and basketball coach. And we took a mission trip with our kids. I was teaching in a Christian high school here in Boise, Idaho, USA. And we took a trip. And in short, I saw the sex trade and I thought of my own daughters and it just broke my heart. My heart was so broken that this could be my girls. If my girls were born in a different country, this could have been them. And so I just told God, if I could just help one girl, here I am, and use me. And lo and behold, things happened, and just doors opened up, and Wipe Every Tear was born, and we just started helping one girl after another, and that's how it all began. My heart was just broken.
Mm-hmm. Right. And when that first spark came, did you immediately act or did doubt try to slow you down?
You know, I I struggled. I have a lovely wife named Da, and our roles are such where I'm the adventurer, I'm the go-getter. She's more behind the scenes, and the roles reversed. I had a huge amount of doubt, fear, and trepidation. And my wife said, "Let's do this. We can do it." And she became the jungle explorer, so to speak. And so it was because of her that we even got this going. I just didn't have it in me. Like, where are we going to get the money? How are we going to do this? And how are we going to get a safe house? How are we going to hire a Filipino to do this in the Philippines? And so I had a lot of fear, a lot of doubt. Yeah, it was very overwhelming to me to begin something like this.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine that leap of faith shaped not just your mission but the way you live each day.
Yeah, it is. Anya, when we started, it was one girl, and one girl was easy to take care of financially. Then it was two, and it was five, and then it was 10 and 20 and 50 and so forth and so on. And it costs a lot of money. You have a lot of expenses, that unforeseen expenses. And so right now it costs us between 40 and $50,000 US a month to operate. And whew, it's overwhelming at times, and it's a big leap of faith to say, "Oh God, you see our girls, you see these trafficked women. Please, God of heaven, open up the doors of blessing and please provide for them." And I've seen 14 years of that, and that's how we live.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And in your journey, what has been the most unexpected lesson about human resilience?
Oh gosh, they call these girls in the industry who come into people's care. They call them survivors. And I kind of like that term, but there's a part of me that doesn't like it because it makes it sound like you're just getting by. So I prefer the term overcomers. They overcome all the obstacles. Our girls come from deep poverty where they're hungry and the shelter they're living in is very minimal. Some living under bridges, with no dwelling, no shack, no house of any sort. And so our girls, if I'm understanding the question correctly, they overcome so much to become who they are. And our goal is to get them in school, and to have that, to see them become a college graduate and become professional women. So it's quite a thing that we see.
Yeah, definitely. And did that lesson challenge any beliefs you once held?
Um, it challenged, that the God of the Bible is a very good God, the God who provides, the God who cares, the God who is always with you, even in hardship and times you don't quite understand. And so it causes you not so much to question, but it causes you to just put your hands out, your palms up, and say, "Oh God, I have nothing. I have nothing. And you, the God of everything, I must rely on you." And that's where we're at. It's just like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, please show up." And he's been very faithful. I mean, recently, well, across the world, NGOs, nonprofit organizations, and ministries are struggling financially, and so are we. And we were down to almost nothing. And we had a large donation that came in that paid for the whole month. One donation for the whole month, and that was just last month. And so you just say, "Oh God, here we go again. Thank you so much."
It's fascinating how the people we set out to help often end up teaching us even more.
Yes, yes, indeed. It is amazing. We don't have any government institutions helping us. We don't have any big, huge givers. We it's just small donations by many people every month. It's an amazing thing, Anya.
Definitely. And many people want to help but feel powerless. What's the first step to break that paralysis?
That's exactly right. People do feel powerless, whether they want to begin something, their own journey of doing something, or if they just want to like participate in giving, like giving to some ministry or organization to help feed. Like for example, we feed 5,000 girls a month in the bars. But I would say this here is that you'll never get there unless you take the first step. And I had an experience where when I first started, I thought it was a huge leap. And through a vision that I had, I mean, I was awake and I had this vision like a dream, but I was awake. And I was on top of this huge tower over water, and I was going to break the world record for free jumping, off and living and surviving. And I was really scared. And so here I am awake, but yet I'm in this vision. My heart was pounding. It was so real. I was there. God took me there. And I'm on this tower and I'm holding on for dear life. Always, I mean, I was just put there. I didn't have to climb up. I was just taken there by the Lord. And I sat there, and I knew that God was saying to jump, although He didn't say it, but I knew He was saying jump. And I sat there in this room, and I said, "I can't jump. I can't do it. I can't do it." And then because I thought it was this huge leap to my death, and then I heard this voice from heaven, and this voice said, "Jump." And I went, "Oh God." I felt that I could literally have a stroke, or just have a heart attack or die. That's how real this vision was while I was awake. And so I sat there and I went, "Here goes." And I took a step off of this platform. Picture this platform over water, this tower. And I took a leap, quote, a leap, and all of a sudden there was this huge hand, like the size of a trampoline that people jump on. This huge hand came underneath my foot about 10 inches below the platform. And I landed on this hand. This hand was huge. And then I heard this voice from heaven. I heard God say, "It's not a leap, it's only one small step." That's how we began entering into rescuing girls in the sex trade. And I learned from that day that you won't get anywhere unless you take one step. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. 100%. And can small acts truly ripple into big change?
Absolutely. I mean, think about this. We often think I've talked to numerous people over the years who, mostly women, who say, "I want to do what you're doing. I want to do what you're doing in Kolkata. I want to do what you're doing in," and they name the city. And they have these big, huge plans. I'm going to raise $1 million. I'm going to get a big house. I'm going to do all this stuff. And I find that they're paralyzed and they end up doing nothing because they have this big plan and they don't take that one step. And so this one girl, one time we're in a car, we're in a van driving in the Philippines. She's from America and she's a Filipino American. And she started telling me the above information that I just gave you. And I said, "Well, how about you start with a little 2-bedroom apartment and you live in one room and you get 2 or 3 beds in the other room and you start going getting one girl." And I started telling her the cost of that. Do you know how much that would cost for one meal for one girl 3 times a day? And I began breaking it down to her very realistic goals. And she said, "No one has ever told me that." That's a picture to help us understand that small things make significant change. And even if it's only one person, well, it's one person of great worth and of great value. And so if it were my daughter, I hope that someone would not deny care to my lovely daughter because they were thinking of 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, that they would stop for the one. And that's what we do. That's how we still do it at Wipe Every Tear. We stop for the one because she is worth it.
And sometimes the tiniest shift in perspective can ignite a revolution in action.
Yes, absolutely. One step at a time. And so, in my case, I was teaching high school, in a school here in America, and people just started hearing about it. The kids, of course, in my class, they even made a jar. It's sitting right in front of me, actually, this jar here in my office. And they grabbed this jar and they said, "Mr. Sacht, do you have a photograph? You have a picture?" I gave them this picture and I said, "Why?" And they go, "For your girls." My kids started donating coins and then some dollar bills. And then there was a check in there one day. Their parents started doing it. So, you know what? Every big thing starts small. And if it stays small, that's okay. If it grows big, that's okay also. But I'm very, very certain that God's heart is for the one. And he's not concerned about the masses. He's concerned about the one. And so that's where I think small things lead to big things.
That's amazing. So, this conversation reminds us that compassion isn't passive, it's a choice, a practice, and a force. Let Kenny's journey be the nudge you need to move on from empathy to action. Step forward, even if it's small, because the world doesn't just change through grand gestures, it changes through the persistence of everyday kindness.
Gosh, you said it well, Anya. That is really good. In fact, I'm right now, I'm having a picture of Mother Teresa. I always call her Sister Teresa. I mean, she's in your own nation, right? That's where
Mm-hmm.
she began. Her story, maybe some people, maybe they know the name, but they don't know her story. Do you know Sister Teresa was teaching right there in Calcutta, uh, at uh, the school there, and Laredo is called Laredo School. I've been there. I've been there. I've walked her footsteps. I've been in her classroom. While she was a nun working in the school, they would take turns. The nuns would, and they would go out and they'd buy the groceries, the food. And she would go out and she'd buy food. And on her way back, she would see all the poor. I mean, India is full of poor people, millions of poor people, slum after slum after slum. And she would see a poor person on the side of the road and she would stop. Sometimes they were diseased, they were sick, they were full of leprosy. And she would bandage them and she would give them food. And then she'd see another person, she'd give them food. It got to the point where one day she came home after going to quote buy groceries, buy food for the day, and she got chastised. She got yelled at, chastised by the senior, I forget what they call it, but the senior mother. And she said, "Where is the food?" And she goes, "I gave it to the poor. I saw poor along the way." And she was following the words of Jesus to stop for the one and take care of them. That's how she began. She began with one person. And then it got to the point where they said, we're going to fire you. We're going to excommunicate you from this whatever they call it, a society or whatever, their group. And she said, if you continue to feed people, and using our food to feed the poor, we're going to fire you. You will be gone. And her response was, "Do whatever you must do, but I must stop for the one. I must feed them. Jesus says to take care of them." So here she had no money. She was using the convent's money. That's how she began. Do you know, to this day there are what are they, Sisters of Mercy, I think they're called. Maybe I'm not sure on that. They're all over the world. It continues in Calcutta. I've been there. I've been to her bedroom where she lived, a simple little bedroom. I've been to the place, and I've been to her school. And she started out with one. So it's amazing. And again, like I said earlier, even if it stays at one, well, if that was your child, if that was your mom, your sister, wouldn't you hope that someone would just stop for her? And so I want to challenge people who are listening. Many, I don't know what your audience geographic is. If it's a lot in India, a lot in America, around the world, I don't know, but I know that people are listening, and there are poor people around. And we often say, "Well, it doesn't matter." Well, if it were your child, if it were your daughter, if it was your mom, if it was your sister, your cousin, it would make a difference. And so I encourage you listening today that you can start out sharing some of your food, some of your money with the poor. That's just a marvelous thing to do. And the God of the Bible, the Lord Jesus, says to do that. And so once you do it, it's a wonderful feeling. It's wonderful to take care of people who are hungry. Long answer, but you said it so well, Anya. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. So thank you so much, Kenny. It was a pleasure to have you.
Oh, it's so good to be with you here today, Anya, and I'm grateful for my time with you and to be able to share a little bit about what Jesus has done in my life and what He continues to do every day, and how He set me free and how He sets people free. Who those who come to Him, those who realize who He is and the Son of God, and He just changes things. He's real. I mean, he's really real. And so thank you so much for this time, Anya.